Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup 2020. So, as we edge ever closer to the start of the 2020 season of the Overwatch League, it's time to do an entire season preview of basically the format and what we are going to see generally during this season. Now, we've done team previews for each individual team, but this is what we will see in general from the league. So, we'll start off with the players, right? We have got a massive amount of players in the league. Now, there are going to be 19 countries represented in the Overwatch League this year. That is actually down from 22 from 2019. Obviously, as you will probably expect, South Korea are the most represented country in the Overwatch League with 114 players in the league at number 1. Number 2 is the United States with 28 players. China is third highest represented with 15 players. France is fourth highest with 8. And the United Kingdom is in 5th with 7. We do actually welcome 2 new countries being represented for the first time in the league this year. Those are Vietnam, who is represented by Mira of the Los Angeles Gladiators, and also we welcome the Netherlands for the first time, who will be represented by Brusen of the Boston Uprising. We have lost some countries though, like Iceland, Latvia, Russia, Poland and Brazil, all of which will not be represented in the Overwatch League this year, and that is actually quite a big shame. But there are still a plethora of countries being represented from every region in the world. So I think that's still a pretty cool achievement from the Overwatch League's perspective. Moving on to the league structure then, and this year is slightly different. If you did miss it, I did cover this quite a while back when it was announced, but let's go over it again. So, we are used to the Atlantic and Pacific divisions, but this time they have been turned into conferences where they'd be divided into 2 divisions for each conference. North and South for the Atlantic Conference, and East and West for the Pacific Conference. This makes it easier to create a fixture schedule. So, in the Pacific Conference East, we see all of the teams from Asia basically, so Chengdu Hunters, Guangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark, Seoul Dynasty and the Shanghai Dragons, all of which have had their schedules disrupted because of the coronavirus outbreak in China, which I covered in a couple of videos ago. Then in the Pacific Conference West, we have the Dallas Fuel, the Los Angeles Gladiators, the Los Angeles Valiant, the San Francisco Shock, and the Vancouver Titans. That's looking like a tasty little division. The Atlantic Conference South is made up of Atlanta Reign, Florida Mayhem, Houston Outlaws, Philadelphia Fusion, and Washington Justice. I would say Atlanta Reign have probably got a pretty good chance of winning that division unless the Philadelphia Fusion pick up something. And then the Atlantic Conference North has the Boston Uprising, the London Spitfire, the New York Excelsior, the Paris Eternal, and the Toronto Defiant contained within it. So, the way this will work, it's not really changed in terms of the fixture schedule. The teams will still play 28 total regular season matches, and each team will play everyone in their own conference twice, and then they will play the teams from the other conference once. For example, the Atlanta Reign will play the Dallas Fuel once, because they are in the Pacific Conference and the Atlanta Reign are in the Atlantic Conference, but because Atlanta Reign and the Florida Mayhem are in the same conference, they will play each other twice. That does not make any difference whether you're in this different divisions in the conference. You will both still play each other twice. All of the matches this year will take place over 26 weeks of the regular season. All of the matches will also take place on the weekends. There will be a break between weeks 12 and 13 for the All-Stars tournament and the mid-season tournament. This has been arranged because this year there are no stages. The stage format has been scrapped for this new season, allowing for better fixture scheduling due to the homestand format, which is obviously the elephant in the room here. All matches will be played over the course of the season at various homestands. Some will have more homestands than others, but this should be a really interesting time for the league, and it's definitely a test of the concept that was imagined up back in late 2016. When the Overwatch League was first being planned. Each team will host at least 2 home weekend events during the season, with an additional 12 events, 3 per division, collectively hosted by teams in their home territories. Also, if you do attend these homestand events, you will be able to receive the in-game sprays in either batch 1 or 2, depending on which homestand event you attend. Teams have also organised exclusive merchandise which you can also purchase at these homestands. Moving on to the structures of each individual matches, where this has changed as well. Previously, we were treated to 4 map matches generally, unless things were very close, in which we did have a map 5 which was available, unless it was a playoff situation. This year is slightly different. We will not always get 4 map sets. It is a first to 3 format, meaning if a team manages to get a 3-0 lead in a match, the match will end there without an extra fourth map. This will make a change to map differential, but it doesn't make any changes to teams being able to come back in matches, because if you were 3-0 down, basically you could only have 3-1. You would never be able to get the reverse sweep. This will also mean that some one-sided matches will actually take place over a much shorter time period than last year and the season before. There is no change to the postseason format for 2020. 2019 was regarded as pretty successful, so they want to continue with that. There will be a play-ins tournament for places 7th through to 12th, and that will be done through an elimination bracket, and then the actual overall playoffs will be done through a double elimination bracket, the same as last year, and the top 2 seeds will be the top 2 teams per conference. This will be decided by record and map differential as the tiebreaker now that the new divisional format has come in for the conferences. In terms of prize money, the mid-season tournament will feature 4 placings for prize money. 4th and 3rd place will get $150,000. The 2nd place will get $250,000 and 1st place will get $500,000. The All-Stars tournament also has a total prize pool of $250,000. And moving on to the season playoffs, 1st place will receive $1.5 million, 2nd place will receive $800,000, 3rd place will receive $500,000, 4th place will receive $300,000, 5th and 6th will receive $200,000, and 7th and 8th will receive $100,000. Everyone who takes part in the postseason overall playoff tournament will receive prize money, so it makes a big difference getting to that playoff tournament. Although everyone did receive prize money last season, there is a slight change to the amounts for 2020. In terms of what maps we will see and what order, every single match will open up with control, then the teams will play hybrid, assault and escort in that order, so escort will always be played. And then if it goes to a 5th map, only the control map type will be played until a team gets to 3 map wins. After every 2 maps played, teams will get a quick break to strategize and basically do team talks and stuff like that. The map pool will change 4 times during the season. We will have this current map pool for the first 6 weeks. The current map pool is Ilios, Busan, Lijiang Tower, Oasis and Nepal for control. All of the control maps will be featured in all of the map pools just because they will be used as tiebreakers as well. Assault will feature Hanamura, Horizon Lunar Colony and Temple of Anubis in this first map pool. Hybrid will feature Kings Row, Iconworld and Blizzard World. And Escort will feature Junkertown, Havana and Dorado. As you can see, no place for Paris. Thank goodness for that. But, moving on to what patch the game will be played on in the Overwatch League level right now, it'll be played on what's currently on the live servers, so patch 1.44. I won't be going over this too much because I've already talked about what we might see in terms of the meta, but obviously there is the big elephant in the room. On March the 7th, hero pools will be introduced into the Overwatch League, which could have a massive will have a massive impact on what we see in the league, because 1 tank, 1 support and 2 damage heroes will be unavailable for selection during each match weekend. This will be changed on a regular basis, but no hero will be made unavailable 2 weeks in a row, and they will not be used for the mid-season tournament, the play-in tournament, playoffs or grand finals. All heroes will be available for those matches, which should be really interesting. But for the first month of the league, we will probably see some sort of meta. In terms of patching and game updates, the overall goal for the Overwatch League is to move balance updates very quickly from the live game to the Overwatch League matches. Obviously, there is no intermittent time like stage playoffs where they can do it. So when the live game receives a patch, the Overwatch League will begin playing on that patch 2 weekends later, which allows teams to adjust to the new buffs and nerfs that might be in a given patch. Any mid-patch updates, so like the hotfix we saw for the latest round of buffs and nerfs, that go into effect during a match weekend, will be deployed for the Overwatch League matches the following weekend. Now let's move on to who we might see on the broadcast for the Overwatch League in 2020, and this is where things get a little bit murky. So, the Overwatch League is still yet to confirm, and considering this is being recorded at night on the 5th of February, just days before the league kicks off, it's pretty darn disappointing. But I will go through what we have had confirmed. So, on the English broadcast, we have had it confirmed that Zoe will be a host this year instead of a analyst. This is, I think, a really good move. I think so. He's always had the opportunity to do this, but obviously this does mean changes in that area. Puckett has left the broadcast to go on and be a freelancer. We don't know anything about interviewers right now, which again is kind of annoying. We have two new analysts, Custer and Reinforce. Reinforce is returning for the 2020 season. Custer obviously retired from the Los Angeles Valiant not too long ago. He is now taking up an analyst job on the Overwatch League broadcast, and I think he'll be really good at it. There has been extensive changing to the commentators or the casters for the Overwatch League this year. So, welcoming Jake and ZP to the caster role, Sideshow and Bren to the caster role, moving from the analyst desk, and Jaws to the caster role, who will be working alongside Hexagrams instead of Semler, who has left the Overwatch League this year. Also, Monte Cristo and Doa have left the Overwatch League this year, which makes room for Jake and ZP. ZP has been doing a lot of contenders casting before. I'm sure you will know ZP. He's a really good caster and will do really well. Obviously, you know Sideshow and Bren. You should also know Jake, who is retired from the Houston Outlaws in this off-season and has become obviously a caster. He also did casting at the Overwatch World Cup as well and was very good at it. And Jaws is a Contenders Europe caster. He's also done a bit of Korean casting as well. He is very good. He will not be appearing alongside Leg Day though, who he did appear alongside in Contenders. And then we don't have any confirmation on what is happening with Uber or Mr. X. I would assume they are returning. They are still heavily involved with the Overwatch League on Twitter and that, so I would assume that they are returning, but there are no confirmations over Uber and Mr. X, but I hope they're returning because I really like Uber as a caster. And then we have, I only have the casters for the Chinese region at the moment, or 4 of them anyway. So this is Danny from Thailand, Alan from China, Lil Joe from Taiwan, and Chen from China. Those people will be doing the casting for the Chinese broadcast. It is confirmed that on YouTube, obviously the new home of the Overwatch League this year, there will be English, Chinese, French, Korean, Portuguese, Russian, and German broadcasts of the Overwatch League. The only issue is the Chinese broadcast is unlikely to be on YouTube solely or on YouTube at all because China also have their own broadcasting situation over there, but a lot is still yet to be confirmed with that. There is also a new feature on the Overwatch League website now called Stats Lab, which means you can take a look at the most intricate of stats throughout the Overwatch League season and from the previous 2 seasons. It's much like the stats that Captain Planet had access to, but now everyone has access to them in a really nice public-friendly format, and you can also download them in Excel format and stuff like that. This is going to be really helpful for a lot of people creating content around the Overwatch League, and in general, if you're just wondering like what the hit rate of certain heroes is, you can go onto the Stats Lab and find out. It will give you percentages and you can break it down into certain chunks of the season or the whole season as a whole, which I think is really, really good. But now I want to introduce you to something that will be featuring on my coverage of the Overwatch League now, during the Overwatch League Roundup, because this is all I have for the Overwatch League right now. I don't have any more information on that, so I can't give you information I haven't got, basically. But there is a new feature coming to the Overwatch League Roundup. Now, I don't know whether you have this in other countries in the world, like America and stuff like that, but in the UK, we have it for soccer or football, as we would call it, or soccer as you would call it in America, and this will be the Vidi printer. So, at the bottom of the screen, it'll pop up, and it will tell you basically what I'm talking about. In terms of the Overwatch League Roundup, if we're doing the preview for the week, it will tell you the fixtures of the week. Not all of them, but it will bring them up as I'm talking about them. In the results League Roundup, which will come out after the week's fixtures have taken place, it'll give you the results as I'm talking about them. And then in other roundups, like the transfer roundup, it will give you the current transfer I'm talking about with information on it, including its region and stuff like that. But the Vidi printer in the Overwatch League Roundup mostly will give you, from left, it will tell you which homestand it is at, what the fixture is, and when it is taking place, UK time. I cannot give any more times than that because basically I can't convert them, and plus if I converted them for everyone, I wouldn't have any space for anything else on the screen. So that's just an issue. If you need that converted, then just convert GMT to wherever you are It'll sometimes be BST, but it will let you know that VEDI printer. And I think this is going to be a really cool new feature, and it will make the videos much better and much more watchable, because I know some people have been having issues with me talking and not being able to see any graphics for what I'm talking about, and this should help with that. But I am going to leave it here for this one. Obviously, we've got one more thing to do before the league starts, and that is going to be the Week 1 preview. That will be coming out tomorrow, with all the fixtures coming up for this weekend as we head to New York and Dallas to kick off the league for 2020, and that will come out every single week with your fixtures, and then there will be a results after the weekend to tell you what went on in the league for that week. But I'm going to leave it here for this one. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.